Hey guys, it's Madison and it's the weekend. I have always been absolutely terrible at managing my time. I don't really have like a planner or a schedule or kind of outline of my day. I just know when I have to work and when I don't, basically. But because of that, I've always ended up kind of procrastinating doing things that I need to do until the very last minute. Part of this comes from the fact that even though I teach at a university, I don't have an office at the university, so all of my work has to also take place at home. So I really am just totally in charge of my time management, which I don't do well. I do get everything done that needs to get done. It's just that I often wait to the last minute. And because of that, fun hobbies that I want to develop and spend some time on, I end up pushing off till after I get the things that I need to get done, which end up being last minute. And therefore those hobbies either get almost no time or just zero time at all. So anyways, I'm trying to change this by giving myself a better time management system. And I'm gonna try and do it with Google Calendar. I've seen some YouTubers that I follow use this for if they work at home, kind of managing their time, stuff like that. So I'm gonna try and do it. I'm not very good at planning out time and then following that schedule. For example, last night I went ahead and made a schedule for today and I'm already like 2 hours behind, which is fine. I'm not going to get super uptight about following everything to the line. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm just hoping to get myself in a better schedule. And actually I've already started off kind of good. Yesterday I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get all of my Monday class stuff all done by tonight at 6, Friday night at 6. And I ended up doing that. And now I have the entire weekend where I don't have to feel guilty about procrastinating doing stuff for my Monday class. I got all my grading for the week done already yesterday. And now I have the whole weekend where I don't have to feel guilty about not doing things that I should do for class. And I can just use for my own chill time and hobbies that I've been putting off forever. So yeah, I thought I'd just make a fun little vlog of this week and see how well I can plan out my time, how well my system works, and if I can have a better balance of work stuff and hobbies that I've been putting off for forever. My kind of rough plan for today, I kind of scheduled in some hobbies that I've been putting off for a long time. The first one is some linguistics research. I want to kind of look into a few ideas that I have. I have a couple of ideas for journal articles I want to write, so I'm gonna kind of look into that and see what I can find. And then after that, in the afternoon, I do have some errands I need to run, but after that, I was hoping to kind of sit down and spend a few hours on drawing. I'm trying to improve my art skills. It's a slow, painful process, but it's one of my goals. And I figured I can kind of maybe intermingle some language learning into that, maybe watch some of the tutorials in a foreign language. And then throughout the day as well, when I find pockets of time, I am hoping to get some language learning done as well. But yeah, I'm gonna start off my day now by updating my language studying journal. I'm a little bit behind, so I want to go ahead and get up to date. I have a few like scribbled notes on like a scrap of paper about what I've been doing, but I wanna go ahead and put it in my notebook that I have because I find that's really motivating for me to want to do more things. So I figure I can just like get that up to date and then move on for my main goals for the day.
Dear diary, I'm feeling lost again, thinking of way back when. Every night I'd sit down to write. Dear diary, no longer an ink affair. My fingers now glide through air. Your pages compressed to a phone by my chest. Type, delete, I just repeat, waiting for answers to light up my screen. Type, delete, I just repeat. Type, delete, delete. Paper to data and data to glory. Up in the cloud they are saving my story. Paper to data and data to glory. Adding the lines to my digital diary. Paper to data and data to glory. Up in the cloud they are saving my story. Paper to data and data to glory. Adding the lines to my digital diary. Dear diary.
It is now Sunday afternoon. I feel like yesterday the schedule worked out really well. I liked having kind of bigger blocks of time blocked off so that I can kind of just settle down into something and kind of power through it for a while. And then if I finished before that big chunk of time was over, then I had like a little extra pocket of break where I could just do things that I felt like doing at the time that didn't necessarily fit into any of the things that I had planned. So yeah, I'm probably gonna just do the same thing today. I haven't made my schedule yet on the calendar. I'm gonna go ahead and start off doing that, scheduling in some blocks of time for things that I'd like to get done. But yeah, hopefully today will work out as well as yesterday did.
だ、である、であれば。
All right, it's 1 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. Who has heard of the terms ethos, pathos, and logos? Yeah, who remembers what they all are? That's what I thought. So we're gonna go over those today. So just finished teaching my 4 classes today. Now I have to hurry up and pack and head down to visit my parents because tonight I'm playing tennis there, and then tomorrow I have an appointment for a haircut because it is way past time to cut this hair, and then I'm playing more tennis tomorrow. During my classes today, I went ahead and tried to kind of put as much as I could on my calendar, but since I'm going and visiting family, I can't really like set any hard set times beyond like the tennis stuff I'm doing and the appointment tomorrow. So yeah, today and tomorrow are kind of weird abnormal days. Today I'm not gonna worry about any more work stuff. I did as much class prep for Wednesday as I could, like in between classes. And then beyond that, just tomorrow night, I'll kind of put the finishing touches on that. But yeah, not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna go home and see family and play tennis and have fun.
Zoe! Zoe! Oh my goodness! Oh, sister, it's awful, sister, what they did to me.
No. No. No.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Ike. Ike.
So it is now Wednesday. I filmed almost nothing the last 2 days. As expected, when I went home, I didn't really do much in terms of like my hobbies or my studying or work or anything like that. One good thing as far as languages go is that at tennis, there were a couple of Koreans that I've met before, and one of them knows that I speak Korean, so she was kind of chatting to me in Korean asking me some questions. But the bad thing about that is that it was super cold outside. So like my hands were numb, and even worse, my mouth was also numb. So I was trying to like speak to this woman in Korean who doesn't know me very well. She just knows that I speak some Korean. So she's talking to me and I'm trying to respond, but I'm so cold that like the words that I'm saying, it just sounded like I knew almost no Korean just because my pronunciation was so terrible because my mouth would not move because it was so cold outside. It was also difficult, honestly, to speak English to the other people who were there as well. So it was just difficult to speak and play, honestly, as well because it was so cold. But for some reason, it's way more embarrassing in the second language because, I don't know, people know that you speak English. So if you pronounce things weirdly, it's like, oh, she must be really cold, therefore she can't speak. But in Korean, it's like, oh, she must not know Korean very well because she can't speak. I don't know, she didn't say anything. She was really nice. It was just, I was embarrassed on the inside because my mouth would not cooperate. Anyway, so that was a little bit of conversational Korean that I got in on that day, which was good. And then yesterday on Tuesday, I got my haircut in the morning. I was really regretting choosing a 9:30 a.m. appointment time because I hate mornings. Like, why did I make myself get up earlier than I usually have to? But actually, I think it was a good thing because I'm trying to get on a little bit more of a morning schedule anyways, and it kind of helped with that. It feels so weird. My hair feels really short to me because it's several inches shorter. But my mom was like, oh, you didn't really get much cut off. And I was like, I got like 3 or 4 inches cut off. And then my brother didn't even notice until I pointed it out, even though we lived together, so. Oh well. And then I played tennis again yesterday afternoon, but unfortunately I really like messed up something in my back while playing yesterday. I didn't notice it that much. I noticed it kind of hurt a little bit as we were playing, but then later that evening it just got absolutely terrible. I was walking like I was 90 years old. Then I drove back home, which is where I am now, and honestly didn't do too much last night. I was in kind of a lot of pain, and I was tired because I gotten up early and because of playing tennis twice in 24 hours. And so I kind of just relaxed at home, made sure I was prepared for classes today. But then when I went to bed, I realized that my back hurt even worse when I was lying down. I did not sleep well. I woke up with it hurting even worse. And so I ended up having to cancel my classes today, so I did not go to work. And the nice thing about that is that because I was out of town the past 2 days, I had a lot of things that I wanted to kind of catch up on today. So I was really planning to have a really busy day, but because of the canceled class, I'm able to kind of spread out that more over the day and be a little bit less stressed today. But the downside, obviously, is that I'm in a lot of pain. So even though I'm able to get a lot more done today, it's not really worth it. So yeah, earlier I've already done some kind of general work stuff, getting ready for the Korean classes that I'm teaching this week. I am teaching an online class that I have scheduled later today. It's just a 25-minute class and I can do it while sitting down and supporting my back. So I don't have to cancel that, thankfully. Before I do that, I am just planning on doing a little bit of active studying. Thankfully, I've already finished most of the kind of work-related stuff that I have to do for today. So I can kind of spend some time doing some studying and some editing before my class starts.
My perfect date starts in a small cafe. There's hearts everywhere cause it's Valentine's Day. We order up waffles, then share the whole plate. Sit by the window and start to debate. There's nobody else I'd rather spend my everyday with. I think it's sweet, she sometimes winks when she laughs. I like the way she dances barefoot in the grass. Yeah, we get along alright. Cause I've been dating me my whole life. Afternoon sun starts to peek through the clouds. We take the back streets to avoid the crowds. Waltz over sidewalks and twirl in the breeze. She'll
It is currently Thursday afternoon. I don't have any classes today, either my university classes or my online Korean classes, but my university students did have a rough draft of a writing assignment due last night. So today is going to be very grading focused. After I got ready this morning and had lunch, I went ahead and kind of planned out my day. And yeah, grading is definitely the main goal for today. I'd like to get as much done as possible. I spent the last hour and a half-ish working on grading, and you know, it's been slow going. It's one of those assignments that grading does not happen very fast. I think that's one really good aspect of this kind of planning out my schedule system, is that, you know, I know that I have designated a certain number of hours in the day towards working on grading, and it kind of helps me offset my unrealistic expectations. In the past, I would often be like, oh, I'll go ahead and just get all the grading done today. And I would just kind of work on it without really thinking about how long things were taking. And when I only got through a couple of classes, I would be so burnt out. I would still take breaks, but at the end of the day, I would feel so guilty because it's like, oh, well, I had this goal and I failed this goal, even though I would still be working on grading for hours and hours that day. So I think having this schedule, I can, you know, set aside a certain amount of time to work on the grading, schedule some breaks in there as well, so that I don't totally get burnt out, but then also be reasonable to myself as well and say, okay, I scheduled out, you know, about 4 or 5 hours of grading today. That is good enough. I'd rather have it kind of, you know, planned out and kind of spread out rather than beat myself up over, you know, not doing 8 hours of grading all in one day. But yeah, all that to say that I'm liking this system so far. Today has been going pretty smoothly. Thankfully, my back is feeling a lot better. It's still in a little bit of pain, but it's not as horrible and just terrible as it was yesterday, thankfully. So hopefully it'll continue to improve, and tomorrow I can just have a normal day of class without worrying about throwing my back out worse. But yeah, that's the day so far, and I'm planning to continue. I'm in the middle of kind of a break that I'm supposed to be doing some language stuff in, and then I'm gonna jump right back into grading papers.
I don't wanna go out, I just wanna stay at home. Wear my favorite robe tonight, I'm partying alone, yeah.
Like,
Going to a sweat clubs. I'm just
all I would be with, and like, you know, if be together with is evil, I can admit my true feelings for the nice, a good guy.
I'm not looking at my phone.
So like, first of all, it's very good to like,
If you wanna hear me out, well, I don't really care, 'cause I'm having a house party, not staying up till morning. Sleep, then I'll watch a movie. I do it.
It is now Friday afternoon at around 4:15. Thankfully, my back is feeling a lot better today, so I didn't have to cancel class again. I was able to have a normal class. In between my classes, I tried to get some work done as much as possible. After I got home, I gave myself around like 15 minutes of a break to just kind of chill. And then for the remaining 2 hours between then and until my class that I have to teach at 5:30, I'm trying to just get as much work done as possible, and then I'm going to just be done for the day. So yeah, even though there is definitely enough work to keep me occupied all night tonight, I am not going to do that. For some reason, I feel really just tired of working right now. I don't know why. I even had kind of a break in the middle of the week, but I think that actually might have added to this feeling because I had that break where I wasn't doing things. It made the other days that I was working feel a little bit more packed together. It made the week feel like it was all kind of being squished into just a few days. And then also because my back has been hurting, it's made like all the time that I was working feel so much longer. So my brain is just ready for a break. So I'm giving myself the evening off. As soon as I finish my Korean class this evening, I am just going to absolutely chill. So yeah, like I said, it's just after 4:15, so I have a little more than an hour left of work that I need to just power through, and then I will have a glorious evening to enjoy. 오늘 뭐 했어요? 어제 중간고사 있었죠? 중간고사는 midterm. 어땠어요? So today is Thursday, aka almost a full week since I have last filmed, and I just wanted to film kind of one final update, just kind of reflecting on how I feel about the Google Calendar system kind of as a whole and how it worked for me. So in a lot of the kind of little individual updates I gave on each day, I mentioned that I really like the system of Google Calendar for different reasons, and I'm not going to rehash all of those. And my kind of overall reflection is that I do like the Google Calendar system in theory. After I stopped filming on Friday, basically the entire weekend I just took off from everything and just relaxed. So I didn't write anything down on the calendar, I didn't make any plans, I didn't do much on those days, to be totally honest, just kind of chilled. And then moving on into the week, I kind of found my first flaws in the system on Monday and Tuesday. The problem I found that I had is that some days I feel like doing things in kind of bigger chunks, taking one thing and just powering through it for a couple of hours. And for those kind of days, Google Calendar is a really good system, I think, because I can kind of mark out a couple blocks of time in the day and then just follow that timetable. But on days where I don't feel like doing that, it becomes kind of an issue. Like, for example, one thing I like to do sometimes, especially with things like grading, which I had a ton to do on Monday and Tuesday, it's really difficult for me to kind of maintain like full concentration in like a grading style where I'm like really looking closely at student texts and trying to help them. That kind of stuff is difficult to do for long chunks of time unless I'm in like a very specific mood. And when I'm not in that very specific mood where I can just power through an hour or 2 hours of grading, one thing I really like to do is kind of do like, okay, I'm gonna grade 3 student papers, then I'm gonna do like 15 minutes of this other thing, then I'm gonna go back and do 3 more papers and kind of like split up, you know, do things in smaller chunks like that. And I don't know how to put that kind of system on the calendar. Like I don't wanna break up my day into like 15-minute chunks. So because of that, the past few days, like I said, I haven't been doing it at all. I think Google Calendar is especially good for kind of like very consistent things. Like, for example, I do like that I can kind of very quickly visually see how my week looks and where I have the most time and where I don't. Obviously, I already know to a certain degree in my head, but it is nice to have that visually laid out, or, you know, keeping track of appointments, stuff like that. It's just on days where I kind of like to flit through my tasks more sporadically, it's difficult to put that logically on the calendar. So I don't know. Will I continue to use it? I don't know, maybe. Most likely scenario is that I will use it occasionally. And I think that's fine. That's honestly how I do everything in life, is kind of sporadically. Anyway, that was my experience. I do wish I was somebody who could kind of fit into a nicely scheduled life better. I'm just not great at sticking with one system, and I don't really know how to change that about myself. So even if I don't use this every day, I'm hoping to kind of use it on certain days where I have a lot that I want to get done, especially if those things are kind of bigger chunks of time. That way I can kind of visualize my day, what I can realistically get done. And other days I might just go with the flow. That kind of fits my personality better overall anyway, so it's probably what I'll end up doing a lot of the time. But yeah, that's all I have to say for today, so until next time, annyeong.
Dear diary, I'm feeling lost.